in as much as we can about Power Virtual Agents and what you need to get started. Today, it won't be like a step-by-step, how do I build it? I wanted to really give you guys an overview and what you need to get started with it. But if you are looking for a bit more of full-on step-by-step labs on how to do it, check out my website. I'll bring it out on at the end later. I'll put some exercises on there if you want to give this a go yourself. So let's go ahead and get started. Power Virtual Agents, creating your own no-code chatbot. So in the session today, I'll start off with an overview of virtual agents, talk about some use cases so you can start to get some ideas on ways that you can use this. Then how we go about getting started. We'll show you a demo of it. Then some other cool things you can do with it, like bringing Power Automate into your bot as well. There's the Power Virtual Agents app for Teams, and then some other resources to help you out as well. To start us off here, let's take a look at an overview of Power Virtual Agents. This is one of the tools we have on the Microsoft Power Platform, and it's the ability to create your own chatbot. Great thing about this is all without code. You don't need to be an engineer or have like any strong technical background to build this stuff out. It's easy to create using a graphical interface. And what's not cool about building your own chatbot, really? It allows you to engage in natural language as well. I'm sure we've all been in an experience where we're talking to a bot, but then you have to sound very robotic in your responses. But what we have here with virtual agents is the ability for it to engage naturally with you. Might just be like how you're having a conversation with a person or your colleague. So you don't really need to change the language that you use to be able to interact with it. Your chatbot can take action for you as well. Of course, you can use it for basic Q&A, but the great thing about this, and like we'll look at later, is how we can bring Power Automate into this. You can automate processes, you can get it to pull out and recover information for you. So really, you can get your bot to do things. It's kind of like your own personal assistant that you might have. And there are different channels that we can publish it out to as well that I'll bring up in a bit too. Sure, we all might have some ideas on ways that we can use this, but there are a lot of possibilities out there on what you can build with this. So here are some things to get you thinking on some ways that you can be using virtual agents back at work. So your virtual agent, it can be either internal, something for your employees to use, or external, like on a website for your customers or anyone anonymous to interact with. Some common things we see if it's internal are some of the examples here, like a HR chatbot. You might have your HR person. They're constantly asking questions or answering questions from people like, how much leave do I have? How do I submit leave? Can I work from home today? Building a bot for this really saves that person time, and it's better for the employee too. They can go to the bot any time of the day and get a consistent and instant response for that. IT support and logging tickets. I've seen some cool examples where it's being used for people to go and log their IT requests that then gets escalated to whoever the team is to handle that. And there are some other examples noted there as well. If it's something external, the key one here is all about customer self-service, really. So it empowers your customers or anyone else who's engaging with your services to find out answers to things on their own, rather than sending an email and waiting for a response, or picking up the phone waiting to talk to someone. It's a quick turnaround with this too. So they can just go to the bot, it can recover information and order for you if you wanted. So really get things done a lot faster with this. And the example that I'll show us is one about lead generation. You could have, like a contact form on a website. Put it as a bot instead, and then that's a way to capture new leads and then escalate that somewhere else. These are the channels that we have available at the moment for the places that you can, get your bot active on. Any website you might have, mobile app, Facebook Messenger is another example here. but you'll notice that I've highlighted two of them there. The demo website, it's a link that you can get to the bot if you want people to try it out, or if you're building it for fun and you want to show people what you've made, you can get this link that you can share with everyone and they can give your bot a go. And Microsoft Teams, very popular at the moment because you can deploy your bot in Teams just on your Teams license, which I'm sure majority of us are using at the moment. So that's a pretty cool way that you can get your bot deployed and get people using it. To build your virtual agent, we have the two places. There's the place it all started, which was the web portal that we can go and build it. And later I'll bring up Microsoft Teams so you can see what the experience is like if you're going with that option too. So let's start off by looking at the website. And I'll bring up one of the bots that I've created for us to take a look at for today. Here we go. Land Grab Real Estate is the name of my bot. If you're a Sims fan, you might get that reference that I've used there. I'll head over to the home page. It might zoom in for us as well. So we can create multiple bots. I've created this particular one for the example that I'll show you today. Let's say we're a real estate company. We have a website and we want to put this bot on a website for our visitors to use. So I've created one for this there. With your bot as well, I've set it up with English, but it can have multiple. There are other languages you can set it up with as well if you're looking to do that. Here we can test it out as we go along, so we can go ahead and say hello to see how the bot has been working. And there we go. You can customize how it interacts with you over in the topics area here. Your topics are the scenarios that your bot has been set up to handle. So what we have here, I'll just close that so we have more space at the side. We have topics that we can go ahead and create. If maybe we have a real estate website, we can set up a topic for booking an inspection, or I want to sell my property. And this is where we build out that particular conversation here. This one that I've done is the one to book an inspection that we'll take a look at later on. But there are also these one called the system topics, like a greeting. That's how your bot's going to go ahead and introduce yourself. So if someone says hi, you can go ahead and go to the authoring canvas. And you can give your bot its own personality, really, like I've done here. You can change how it interacts. And we do this just by building out the conversation tree that you can see. All right, and the entities area is, I'll talk a bit about this in a moment. Your entities are things that your bot has been trained to be able to identify in a conversation. Of course, we want feedback on how the bot is performing too, so we can constantly go and update it and make sure that it's effective and doing what we want. So we get these inbuilt analytics to show us how it's been performing. How many sessions has it engaged in? Are people resolving the issues that they're reaching? Or even like the abandon rate. If people are dropping out of the conversation before it ends, that's something that you can drill down into, see what the causes are, and then go and edit your bot to improve that. Over in the publish area is where you can commit the changes and put the bot out for people to use. And over here, you can also find that demo website that I mentioned. And this is a good one. You can send the link off to your friends, your colleagues, if you want to show off what you've built, and they can go ahead and interact with the bot from here. Another L in there. Oh, still recognize the hello. So that's a good example of how the bot can still look over typos. The AI in the background can still work out what people mean, even if you spell something wrong, like I did there. The manage area gives us some more tools, like change the name. If you want to teach the bot any skills, or change the channels it's deployed to, you can set that up over in this area here. This is the typical bot building process that you'd go through. So first of all, you'd create your bot. You can then go ahead and create the topics. So you need to have a think about what scenarios do you want the bot to handle, and then you can go ahead and construct the conversations for it. Test the bot. When you're happy with it, you can publish it out. And we really have this cycle going on here. You can see the analytics and measure the performance. Then you can go back to your topic, edit it as you want, and continuously improve how it's been performing. So the next thing we'll talk about is more about what's in that conversation that you're setting up. So what's in your bot? We have the topics that are available. System topics like the greeting, and then user topics, which are these custom ones that you're creating for the bot. Each topic has its own conversation tree that you've built out. Then our conversation tree can have these things in it: trigger phrases, entities, and Power Automate flows that we want to build in. So an entity is what our bot is going to identify. The ones you see here are a section of some of the entities that are available. Let's say if you want to get someone's email address, they can type in an email, the bot can then pull out and identify that. Numbers, colors, like you can see here, these are things that the bot is able to pick up. From this, you can also create your own custom entity. So in the example I'll show us in a moment, I've created a custom entity to be able to pick up on Australian cities and locations. At the moment, unfortunately, it's only the US default ones in there. But let's say if you're running a shop and you have particular products you sell, you can put in a custom one so the bot can pick up and understand what people mean if they reference a product. Now, your variables are ways that you can get your bot to provide tailored content and remember user information. Let's say if the bot asks for my name. I send off my name, it picks up on that. It can then reference that out throughout the conversation. So it's another way that you can customize and personalize the experience a lot. And then that information it's collecting can be used either throughout the rest of the conversation or even in a Power Automate flow as well. And something I think is really cool is the ability called slot filling. So your bot, it's not just going to blindly follow the script that you've set up for it. What it will do is it can decide which questions to ask and which ones it needs to skip. Let's say if it asks a question, what's my name and where do I live? I can put all of the answers in a single response before the question is asked, and then it knows when to skip or when to ask the question. So we'll take a look at this in a demo. I'll show you what this all looks like. So I'll go back into my land grab real estate example for today, and we'll look at this example topic that I've set up for an inspection booking. So the idea of this one is that we're on our real estate website. We want to capture information of people wanting to book an inspection. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So over in topics here, I'll go over to inspection inquiry. This is the summary page of the topic. It's where we can set up trigger phrases. Your trigger phrases are what's going to direct someone to this particular conversation. It's what you're expecting the end user to say to go ahead and start this. And the authoring canvas is where we can build this out. So like I said, I'm not going to take a step-by-step into how you build it because it is quite straightforward really on how you build it out. So if you want to send a message, you can go ahead and click a node to add in a message and type that in. Or if you wanted to ask a question, call and action is where you can bring in the power of Power Automate to do some workflow in your bot. So I'll just zoom out so we can get a better look at the bot there. And I'll test it out as we go along. So I'll start off by doing our trigger phrase, so book an inspection. So you can see it's working its way through the conversation. I'll go ahead and answer that. Some more questions here. In this particular one, this Australian States is a custom entity that I set up to be able to pick up on Australian locations that are being used. And look at that. So we've got to a certain point. It's done its Q&A with me. And now you can see it's reused all that information that I've given it in this message node using those variables here. So this is the way that you can reuse that information the bot has got and insert it throughout the conversation. So that was a very turn-based one. Typically, you might have someone come in and give all the information you need up front. So let's go ahead and try out to see how that slot filling works. So let's start again. Let's say book an inspection. And let's just go ahead and say Rashona again. This time, I'm going to put a bunch of information in my one response. Let's say I want to rent a new in Victoria. And there we go. What it's done in this case is I did write a whole sentence, which a lot of words, it wasn't even trained to identify. But it's gone ahead and skipped down to the bottom to summarize what I wanted here. To confirm you're looking to rent a 4-bedroom property in Victoria. So that's to show you how the AI is able to pick up on this and make it like a lot more of a fluent, natural conversation here, rather than go back and ask the same things over and over again if it's already got it. So there is a next part to this topic, which is going to be a flow that's going to be pulled in to take some action. Over here, I'll just introduce this bit into what Power Automate can do before we take a look at that. With Power Automate, you automate whatever workflows you need with whatever systems you might be using. So there are over 450 connectors to applications out there like Twitter, Zendesk. The one I've used today is Microsoft Teams. And that allows your chatbot to go ahead and call and make use of all of those connectors and applications that you use at the moment. So whenever you want your bot to take action and do something for you, this is what allows your bot to, do all that here. In this example, I've created a flow that's going to, first of all, send that information the bot has collected and route it to the right team that I have in Microsoft Teams. So it will collect that information, post it in a Teams channel for me. And this is one way that you can do something like capture your lead information. Of course, Microsoft Teams could be replaced with any other application you might be using at the moment. So I'll go over back into my topic here and continue the conversation. You can see we can also add that conditional branching as well. So, if you have multiple scenarios that can happen in the conversation, you can branch this as much as you need, because of course it's not going to be very as straightforward. So let's confirm that. So now let's say I want to pull any other comments. Here it's going to look for an email address. And the next stage, we've done that one that's call an action here. So from my point of view of things as a user, I can see it's told me it's gone ahead and passed the details on to one of our agents. But what I've done here is I've gone ahead and used that call an action for my inspection request, which we can open up here. All right, so let's take a look at that. I think I have it open here. So with our Power Virtual Agents flow, we start off in Power Virtual Agents. All those inputs and variables I collected throughout the conversation, I can now use these throughout the flow. Actually, what I might do, I'll show you the end result first and then that back end here. So in this particular case, it was going to send that information off and post it into Teams for me. And that is exactly what it's gone ahead and done. So it remembered that I wanted to put in something about renting. The information I've given it, it's gone ahead and posted it into this Teams channel for me. And that's all done via this flow here. You can see I've put in some additional steps, like get the current time, because I want to use that in my message that I posted. I've built in a condition to post it to the right team based on the information that I provided. And then we can go ahead and link it all up. So we can write our message and then insert that information from here. The return values to Power Virtual Agents, this is where you can go ahead and return something back to the user. Let's say if they placed an order, they have an email address, and you want to go and look in a system to recover their details, you can build a flow to do that and use this to send the info back to the chatbot here. So the idea of this is that any flow or any action you want the bot to take, if you can build it as a Power Automate flow, really you can get your bot to do it. And that opens up a range of possibilities and things that you can do with this tool here. We've ended off the conversation here with a survey, so we can go ahead and finish that one off. And then that survey that you finish off with goes back into the analytics, so you can see how people are happy or not too happy with the bot's performance from there. So to finish us off here, I'll give us an overview of the Power Virtual Agents app from Microsoft Teams, because I think this is a great way to get started with it all, especially if you're already a Teams user. It's a good way to discover and to start using virtual agents for yourself, and that's via the app that's there. I'll switch over to Teams just to show you where you can find it. So your apps you can find here, and just look for Power Virtual Agents. Provided your IT hasn't shut it down, you should be able to find it there. And this puts that whole bot building experience directly within Teams. Exactly the same, like nothing's really changed. It's just really embedded into Teams now and included in your Teams license too. So we really have that same building experience as well. And then to publish it out, it's really fast. Within a few clicks, you can deploy the bot for your organization or for a particular team to use. Here is an example of what it looks like if you're using it in Teams. So it's kind of like, just talking to a colleague, how you might start a chat with them. It's kind of like having like a friend in the office you can talk to. Like starting with a chat with someone, people can go ahead and access it like this. All right, so that was really the end of the session, but to finish us off, I'll just give us a bit of a guide on ways that you can go and try this out. So like I said, trying it in Microsoft Teams is a good way to discover it and get started. If you want to create like your own personal team and play around with it, or maybe you might already have a use case for it, you can start building it out there. And if you're looking for more step-by-step instructions, I have some exercises I'm putting on my blog here that you can try out. So I did this earlier today. I published one out to build your own space theme bot, which I think is quite exciting. I'm putting some exercises on there, which will be like a step-by-step guide on how you can build your virtual agent. And I've gone with the space Mars theme there. So I'll bring it up what I've done there. There's an exercise I'll put on there probably in a few days if you want to check back, which shows you how you can build one that's going to calculate your weight in Mars, on Mars, that is. So yeah, if you just go over to the blog and you will see it there. I'll zoom in here. This is one that I've done, which in a few days, I'll put up some instructions on how to build it. It's one where you can put in your weights, and then there's a Power Automate flow to do like some calculation for you. So put in a number and it can then return that value to you. So build your own space theme bot, go and try it out. Let me know if you're giving it a go. So this is a good way if you want to get some proper step-by-step instruction on how to build it. All right, and we are now at the end of the session. So I'll just like to thank everyone. If you're watching live, hopefully you enjoyed it and you're excited to go and try this out on your own. And once again, thanks for coming here today. I had quite a lot of fun showing this to you guys and keen to see what you all go and build after this. I think you're on mute, by the way. I can see you talking. Might be having some technical difficulties there. That's okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Rishona. Really appreciate that. Was very informative, really helpful. I wish when I started learning about PVA, I would have attended a session like this. It was really helpful. Thanks. And Rishona, a couple of small questions. Uh, do you, do you know if we can move our team-based PVA bots to another environment? Is it possible? Any idea about that? I know these sort of things are more specific to scenarios, but if you have, I mean, experience or know something, please.
So you mean like if you can build the bot in teams, then move it elsewhere?
Yeah, just like in for if you built bot in your tenant and I want same bot, so will I need to build it again from the scratch in my
Nope.
environment? Or,
Good
okay.
news is that you don't. So there is the ability to just export it. So what you can do is, yeah, just in your bot, if you go over to here, I think it's general settings.
Yep.
Here you go, export and import. What it does, it just gives you like a zip file you can download, go over to your other tenant or whatever it is. You can then import it into solutions from there. So quite easy if you want to be able to move your bot from one place to another.
And will it work with team as well? Any thoughts? But I
Yep,
think these
so
are,
yeah, it's built the same way, so it will
yeah,
work with teams
yeah,
as well.
yeah, yeah. And can we transfer I know there is a feature which allows us to transfer to human. Uh, I'm not sure if you are across. I mean, I'm not aware. Like if something further has been happen on this, can we still transfer it to any other backend other than Dynamics 365, or that's the only area where we can transfer to human agent?
You sure can. I didn't cover it today, but
Yeah,
with the transfer to agent, um, there's the Dynamics 365 Omni-channel, which is already pre-built out of the box for you, so that's
yeah,
an easy connection, but you can bring your own customer service system that you might be
yeah,
using. There is a bit more setup with that. It would probably be your IT team setting that up for you, but
yeah,
yep, you can bring your own engagement hub, like you can see here. So you're not
yeah,
just limited to just Dynamics
yeah,
365 for it. You can
yeah.
really choose whichever one you might be using.
And thanks for letting everyone know about website, and you have designed some starting exercises. Do you want to suggest anything additional, any resources if someone wants to explore or learn the basics? What can be like one source we have learned, you have created your resources on? Other than
Yeah,
that,
definitely.
anything?
Power virtual agents in a day.
Yeah,
Let me see if I can bring it up. If you just look for that, for Power Virtual Agents in a day, this is like the Microsoft training, introductory training into virtual agents for a day. I run them at Barhead. This is actually my favorite training that's there.
yeah,
Step by step, it takes you through some different exercises on building your own chatbot, introductory stuff. So definitely recommend this one as well if you're looking for that kind of guided learning around it. So if you just sort of do a Google of it, stream. Yes,
yeah.
that is Google of it. You can download the instructions there and work your way through it. There's
That,
also one, if you just look for um, Power Virtual Agents Microsoft Teams, there's an example on the Microsoft Docs site, which takes you through how you can build your own HR chatbot as well. So plenty of resources out there if you're looking to try it out and work through an example of one to build.
yeah. And Rishona, are there any like community boards or boards pre-built available? Which, for example, if I want to learn, I can use them as a sample. Is there anything which, if you can recommend something?
Yes, if I can bring it up, there is the Power Virtual Agents community.
Yep.
Should have had these prepared up. So the other Power Platform sites, really all of the tools, Power Apps, they all have their own community sites. There
Yep.
is a Power Virtual Agents one, so you can just do what I did to find it. And yeah, from here, people do their like questions and answers, and you can also see there is a place where you can browse a gallery of bots people have created as well.
Yeah. Rishona, we have got a couple of questions from LinkedIn. Do you want to take those, or I know we are
Yeah, do
just
we
on the
have
time.
time?
Just we maybe just let me read out, and if you feel they can be briefly, you can answer. First one is Uzair has asked, can I integrate this bot in my custom developed app?
Yep, it is possible. I couldn't tell you how to do it, but one of the channels is a mobile app that you would have noticed when you go into the channels area. So, yes, that is possible.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah, that was all, Rishona. Thank you so much. Really appreciate. It was great to
I
have you and learn from your experience. Thank you so much for
really
sharing.
love being a part of it. Thank you so much for having me,
Thank
and
you.
thank you
Take care.
everyone for watching along too.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. That was Rishona, and Rishona was presenting basics of Power Virtual Agent. Next, before going to our next session, we have a break, and I can quickly see it is a 10 minutes break. So yeah, I will also take a break and hope to see you back after 10 minutes. Please stay with us. Thank you so much.